Hello, and welcome to the Positunity Podcast. Life's a journey. Own yours. Thank you for joining. Whether it is rejoining or this is your first time, thank you. If this is your first time joining, make sure you follow the podcast on your favorite platform so you are alerted to episodes as soon as they become available. Please like and follow at Positunity on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for the video version when it's available. There have been technical difficulties, but we'll get through them. You can also send an email to positunitynow@gmail.com, as well as visit the website online at positunity.net, biz, and org. So I want to start this episode with a couple of positunities that happened to me. Oddly, they happened at the same place, Red Bullseye Logo Store, you fill in the blank. The first one happened much like a similar event on the last episode when my arms were full of groceries. You'd think I'd learn, especially when I'm airing said events here regularly, but I digress. So I was coming around the corner of the self-checkout this time. I had recently, before moving into the line, resituated the groceries so as to not drop them. I came around the corner and the veggie wrap I had on top started to wobble. In my speed coming around the corner, I struggled to keep it balanced, and in fact, I knew it was going down. I even swerved in toward the first open register so it would hopefully fall a couple of feet at most onto the register instead of clear to the ground. As I made my swerve, Miracle Woman swoops in to catch my falling wrap mid-air. What the? I thought to myself, because I honestly have no idea where this woman came from. She was just there. She immediately, in fact, it seemed like in one fluid motion, showed up and caught the wrap. But maybe I was still in shock from the miracle save, but I turned, now knowing I was safe, somehow. I turned to her as she rounded the corner to leave. The corner I had just come around, and said, "Thank you." "Right time, right place," she shot back. Right? Right? What? What the? I remember shaking my head as I looked back to the plastic box sitting on top of now my register and looked back to the corner, and she was gone. You guys, it was incredible. Even now, I can see it happening in slow motion. It was crazy, and I was so incredibly grateful, but she was gone before I could notice her with a QR code. So the next positunity, same place, same corner. I was standing in line, this time with only three things, not an armful, waiting for a disaster to happen. So I was standing and watching all of the registers, of course, because who was close to finishing? How long should I expect? I was second in line, and I made this scan at as the first register opened, and person number one ahead of me moved in. As that happened, I saw another register's light turn green. I know from experience this means nothing, really. Green means the transaction is done, and technically, the register is free. Who the hell knows when the customer, or customers, as I saw was the case at this supposedly free register, was not going to be the next available. So I continued my scan around the registers and saw someone moving out before their register light even turned green. Bingo, I thought to myself, and I was correct. I moved into the free register, and as I got there, I noticed the register with the original green light was now back in use, but by the same three people. What I didn't include with my description of this register at the beginning was I saw they were starting again. And my very first thought was how annoying I think this is normally. And did this time as well. If there are three people and three transactions, you should wait for three registers. The reality is, who cares? But this is what I think in this situation, because it is the way I, Aaron Hales, would handle the situation. My way. But my way is not necessarily the right way. So I shouldn't be frustrated just because someone does it differently. They may get equally frustrated when my 3 people wait their turn instead of doing it their way at the same register. In any case, again, first thought. It's always my first thought. So as I get to my register, I realize this is not a regular 3 people situation. One of the 3 women is elderly. The other 2 women have Downs. My heart stopped. I do not know if these 2 were her daughters. That is what I put them into, but this was from a very quick recognition as I stepped up to my register. I wasn't staring and I didn't stop anything, so it was a very passing glance to realize this was a special relationship between these 3 women. Again, I wasn't trying to make a scene. Honestly, it wasn't until I finished my transaction, which caused a delay in my transaction where I needed the Target employee's assistance. They came quickly and we had a discussion about an item I was ringing up that had scanned the wrong barcode. She did her thing in the register, asking me questions as we went along and asking which of the 2 barcodes I had scanned that did not work. In any case, this is all to say that when I finished and turned to leave, this group of 3 women had finished and left. I looked to see if they were within eyeshot, but they had left or turned a corner away from the direction I was leaving. When I went outside, I looked to see if I could find them with no success. I wish I could say I found them and helped them and notice QR coded them, but I didn't get the chance. Honestly, I wanted to help just because I thought this was an awesome situation. They were there with and for each other, regardless of what their connection was. I didn't get a glimpse of how much they were buying and whether I might have been able to help or not, but once I realized how wrong I was and how lovely I found out it was, I wanted to help. The thing I am most grateful for is that this moment, recognizing this after the fact and realizing, 1, my way is not the way, and 2, there was way better. Their way was way better, and it made me want to stop. And for me to stop, I am thank you next, and next, and next, and on and on and on. And I was in that mode, and I wanted to stop. Not to talk about it here, because it wasn't until I was thinking about what to talk about in this episode that I remembered this second Red Bullseye logo store story. In the moment, I just wanted to help them. When I say at the beginning that the first woman was old, I mean mid to late 80s for sure, helping 2 amazing women who were likely helping her with the heavy lifting. She was not large, vertically or horizontally. She was tiny and, well, older. It made me want to reach out, to reach across, regardless of their situation and regardless of what I was doing, whatever I was headed to next. Thank you. I hope that all of us find moments like this that remind us our way isn't the right way and encourage us to step in and assist. That's it. I'm keeping it short and sweet. I didn't have a lot. We're going on vacation, but it's more important that I post. But I do want to say, I mentioned at the end of the last episode about sharing comments or stories or anything really. And I'm specifically going to say, if you have an example of a positunity you'd like to share, send it to positunity.now@gmail.com. If you want to remain anonymous, let me know. But even if it's just a quick example, it doesn't have to be a full story like mine. But if it is, that's great too. For the time being, this will be a way for me to share other stories. And if I get to that point, I would love to set up a video call for a guest spot, but only once we get to that point. I am trying to be more regular with this podcast, but that doesn't necessarily work out too well. So it is very much on my time, when I find or make that time. I'm trying to be more scheduled about it, but that is not working out as well as I had hoped for. I know. Me, Aaron is the one who needs to make that happen. But for now, since it's on my time, it's sporadic. Short form, so you are alerted to episodes as soon as they become available. Please like and follow at Positunity on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for the video version when it's available. Hopefully this time. There have been technical difficulties, but we will get through them. You can also send an email to positunitynow@gmail.com, as well as visit the website online at positunity.net, biz, or org. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. Be well. Life is a journey. Own yours.